In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the best McChicken sandwich using real breast meat. And then I'm going to compare it to the McDonald's McChicken sandwich. On the left is McDonald's and on the right is my version. The only difference between the two is that I'm using real breast meat, whereas McDonald's uses minced meat. But apart from the chicken, my version tastes about the same, if not better, than the McChicken from McDonald's. Full recipe in both imperial and metric units is listed in the description of this video, so do check that out. To make our own home McChicken, we're going to start off by marinating the chicken. I'm using these chicken breast fillets, which I'm trying to cut into circular pieces so that they're round. You do want to make sure that you cut it round because otherwise it won't fit inside the burger buns. I'm using about 180 grams of chicken breast fillet, which is a little less than half a pound of chicken, and this should be enough to make about 6 to 7 burgers easily. Here's a closer look at my chicken. It's really nice and thin, and you really want to make sure that the chicken is thin so that it cooks more evenly when you're frying it. Here are all the spices that we're going to use to season the chicken. You're going to need salt, black pepper, mustard, onion powder, paprika, and garlic powder. Using these ingredients will make your chicken taste just like McDonald's McChicken, if not even better. Next, I transferred my chicken into a bowl, and just to show you a close-up, here's what the chicken should look like in shape. Should be thin and roundish. The only reason we want our chicken to be round is so that it fits our bun perfectly. At this point, if there's any water on the chicken, use paper towel to get rid of any excess water. Make sure your chicken is patted dry. Doing this step correctly will make sure that our chicken remains crispy when we fry it. Next, we're going to start by adding in our spices. Start by adding in 2 teaspoons or 6 grams of paprika powder. Next, you want to add in about 7 grams or 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Then add about 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of black pepper powder. Then add 2 teaspoons or 5 grams of onion powder. I don't know why my onion powder got stuck, but it took some beating to get it out. Generally, this happens every time I use onion powder. Every brand does the same thing. Let me know in the comments if you know why onion powder does that. Next, you're going to add in some mustard. I'm using 3 teaspoons or 15 grams of mustard. You can also use Dijon mustard if you have that available, but sometimes it causes the chicken to be a little bitter in taste. Then go ahead and start mixing your chicken. You want to make sure every piece gets coated evenly. And I almost forgot to add salt, so you're going to add about 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of salt, or you can tweak it as per your taste. If you like more salt, add more salt. If you don't like so much salt, then add less salt. And finally, mix your chicken properly. Instead of using a bowl, you could also use a Ziploc bag and marinate or season your chicken in there as well. Once you're done mixing everything, it should look something like this. Here's another view from the side. It should be nicely coated with your seasoning. Now at this point, you could marinate this for a few hours, or you could just go ahead and fry it right away. Both ways, it tastes the same. Put your chicken to the side, and now we're going to focus on making the sauce. This sauce is pretty much bang on with the McChicken sauce, and it's really only 3 ingredients. To make the sauce, add in about half a cup of mayo into a small bowl, to which you're going to add about 1 teaspoon of mustard paste. You can easily find this at the grocery store. And then finally, you're going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Then go ahead and mix everything very nicely. Mix it until you stop seeing the yellowness from the mustard. This is probably the easiest sauce that you can make. So simple, only 3 ingredients. Once you're done mixing it, it should look something like this. Next, we're going to put this to the side and focus on making the egg wash for frying. To do this, in a pan, break open 1 large egg. Since I'm only frying 2 pieces of chicken, I'm using 1 egg, but you're going to need about 2 eggs for frying all 6 pieces of chicken. Since eggs whip the best at room temperature, remember to take your eggs out of the fridge probably 1 hour before you're about to do this. Go ahead and whisk your eggs up. You want it a little frothy. Now it's pretty important that we season our egg wash. Otherwise, the chicken by itself won't have any flavor. For seasoning it, I added half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Now put that to the side and let's focus on breading. For breading, I'm going to use this panko from Kikkoman. Again, you can find this easily at the grocery store. Instead of using any other breadcrumbs, I use panko breadcrumbs because it makes your chicken ultra crispy. If you don't believe me, here's a crunch test. Next, you're going to set up your breading station. You're going to put your chicken, egg wash, and panko right next to each other so you can easily dip. Take your chicken and dip it in the egg wash. You want to coat it properly. Make sure you don't leave any corners out. Then you're going to take your chicken and place it in the panko breadcrumbs. To make sure that panko sticks properly to the chicken, you want to place some panko on top and press real hard from the top. By press, I mean you want to apply some pressure from your hands onto the chicken so that the panko adheres properly with the chicken. Flip it, again place more panko on top and then press it down or apply pressure and their chicken is ready then. Here's a closer look on both cameras. This is what your chicken should look like. Now that all the prep work is done, we're ready to fry the chicken. I used about half a bottle of oil in here, which is about 4 cups of oil. I used canola oil for frying, but you could use peanut oil or any other type of oil that you have available. Next, you want to heat up the oil to about 250 degrees Fahrenheit or about 120 degrees Celsius. This should be about low to medium low heat on a regular gas stove. You want to make sure your temperature is not too high because panko cooks really quickly when you're using high heat. You're going to be frying the chicken for a total of 6 minutes. Fry the chicken for 3 minutes on one side and then go ahead and flip it and fry it for another 3 minutes. Since the chicken is so thin, it shouldn't take that long to get fully cooked. Shorter cook time helps the chicken stay juicy as well. After your 6 minutes are over, you're ready to take out the chicken. Just for comparison, here's what mine looks like, really nice and golden. And then here's another close-up look from the top. While taking it out, drain any excess oil that's on the chicken and then use paper towel on a plate so that any remaining oil gets absorbed by the paper towel, not by the chicken. Next, go ahead and put your chicken to the side and we're ready to assemble the chicken sandwich, aka the homemade McChicken. Now we're going to put everything we need to assemble the burger on the side. We're going to put in our homemade mayo and some shredded lettuce. Lettuce should be really nicely shredded like this, as McDonald's uses the same style of lettuce. You can buy this pre-cut at Kroger like I did, or you can take iceberg lettuce and chop it like that. Next, you're going to need some burger buns. Since I'm making only 2 sandwiches, I'm only going to use 2. And finally, we're going to bring in the star of the show, which is the crispy chicken. So now let's start making our homemade McChicken sandwich. Putting it all together is very simple. I'm going to start by placing our chicken, which looks like this. Just wanted to give you another close-up look on how it looks like. Sometimes my camera has a hard time focusing. So we're going to go ahead and place that in, and next we're going to apply some mayo. We're going to use our 3-ingredient mayo, which was using mayo, combining it with mustard and some garlic powder. Apply some generous amounts of mayo on your bun. I would say putting about 2 tablespoons of mayo in each sandwich should be adequate, but since you're eating the sandwich, put mayo according to your taste. Next, go ahead and put in some generous amounts of lettuce on your bun. A handful should be enough to cover the bases. Right at this moment, I realized that placing the top side of the bun will make all the shredded lettuce fall off. So I just decided to put the chicken on top of the lettuce and then the bottom at the end. Then I flipped the sandwich over so that it was in its right position. And finally, here's what that looks like. I think looks-wise, it looks better than any fast food burger that I've bought. Also, for added measure, I put some extra drizzles of mayo on top because I really like mayo, and also because that's how McDonald's does it too. Once it's all assembled, this is what it looked like up close. Let me know what you guys think. Does it resemble the McDonald's McChicken that I'm showing on the bottom left? Sometimes I like to be an overachiever, and just for comparison, I actually went in and bought the McDonald's McChicken. A very long time ago, back in the college days, my friend and I used to eat McChicken from McDonald's every single day, and we each used to get 3 McChickens for lunch every single day for about 3 months. Can you imagine that? Now, just to be clear, I went to the McDonald's maybe 15 minutes before I started frying my chicken. This is what the McDonald's McChicken looks like. Comparing it to the ad, I mean, come on, this is not even close enough. Putting it next to my chicken sandwich, you could be the judge on which one looks better. I mean, no offense, I would eat the McChicken any time of the day, but you be the judge which one looks more appetizing to you. The only difference between the two is that I'm using real breast meat, whereas McDonald's uses minced meat. This is my take on how the McChicken should be, and here's a side-by-side comparison of both. On the left is McDonald's, and on the right is the version I made. Here's a quick crunch test. Do let me know which one you preferred, and do let me know if you liked this video or not in the comments below. In the end, I'm really happy with how this recipe turned out. I hope you guys try this recipe out that I made and see the difference yourself. If you have any questions you would like to ask, let me know in the comments below and I'll answer them as I get them. If you enjoyed this video, do remember to subscribe and like this video. Finally, enjoy this B-roll. Just kidding, there isn't one this time. Or is there?